Hey folks, this is Ben Gessel, just watching a little Harry Potter this morning. Um, I thought I'd talk about something that might the tone of it is perhaps more serious, but in a way it's really not so much in a way, but in another way it is. It has to do with the kinds of people I've known in my life, which of course there's no way I can sum up in this video or take over a half hour. It's rather not go that long, so I'll probably make more videos about this. But I want to mention that sometimes it's people you've known. Sometimes it's people you know that help define who you are, but oftentimes it's people that you've known that are very different from you, that um, firmly establish in your own mind who you're not. So let me tell you about a few of these folks. No particular order. Um, this guy I knew at Central Washington College, who was a very good student, very good clarinetist, Jewish and Mexican, but he talked more about his Jewish ancestry, but he really didn't talk about ancestry really at all. And he seemed very suspicious when he talked about ancestry because it was something that he viewed as sometimes being a racist type of subject matter. So he also had a grudge against conservative Christians, but more especially Mormons, somewhat. And I imagine it had something to do with who he had known when he was growing up in Issaquah or something like that. Some certain attitudes that maybe he came across. So I picked up all this very, very quickly. And everyone thought he was a jerk. And he was really just interested in himself. Um, it's very easy for me. It was very easy for me to say to myself, "Oh, this is definitely not the kind of person I am." Some people would say, would go farther and say they hate Jewish people because of there's these attitudes that this guy had that they see in other folks that are Jewish, and of course I find that distasteful because I have relatives that are Jewish or Jewish ancestry, and I myself I these are not blood relatives. I mean, there's relatives in law that you know you know, but I have cousins that are Jewish, part Jewish, whatever. I myself am European. I mean, whatever. But when I say Jewish, I mean Jewish by ancestry, um, and so I've had friends. I have friends that are Jewish. So I mean, close friends. So I mean, like I find that whole thing distasteful. But I also at the same time understand where people tend to come from, what they mean by what they say, and it's still something that just the same deal as with perceptions about Afro Americans. We need to keep working on this stuff. It's not going to go away overnight. But anyway, there's this one guy I knew. I said to myself, I am definitely not like this guy at all. Very liberal, very judgmental, very uneasy around white Northern European Mormons, I guess. Another guy I've known when I was younger um, was a school bully and a neighborhood bully, and we could probably consider to be white trash. And I was trying to be his friend because I felt bad for him. He didn't have any friends, but he was cruel to me. I cannot emphasize that enough. And he himself, I think, was abused. I saw a Facebook picture of him, what he was like. He still was having kind of a rough time, and this is a miserable guy, ladies and gentlemen. Miserable guy. He made my life misery. He was one of the main reasons why I wondered about evil. What made people that way? Well, one of the main reasons why people act that way is because they've been abused. Period. I had no idea what that was. I had no concept. What does the 8-year-old understand about abuse? My own parents are amazing. They're angelic, spiritual, godly. His parents, oh, they put on a good face. He put on a polite face. Didn't mask what's going on. I don't know all the details of what was going on in his family, but no. And you felt something not good at his house. And I remember distinctly what that feeling was, along with the cigarette smoke, along with like everything. I hated that place. I hated that place. And for years and years afterward, whenever I drive by that place, had a pit in my stomach. It took a long time. It's taken a long time for me to get over that stuff. That's how unkind this guy was, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you've been through that stuff yourself, it's hard to understand that level of bullying. But I've been through it. There's another guy I've known. Oh, let's see. He went from, I think, Protestant Christian, very anti-Mormon, very snidely anti-Mormon at that, to eventually, I think, I don't know, Eastern Orthodox or something. He became a Eastern Orthodox priest or something. I don't know. When I was younger, I knew him. He was filthy, absolutely filthy mind, degenerate. Very interested in religion though, theology, and I guess he had his own reasons, and he loved talking to me about religion, but he was a jerk. Yeah. I talked to him later, and he seemed pretty okay. Maybe he had worked some stuff out. Maybe, hopefully, study of religion can do that to someone. Maybe it can impress upon someone the need to adhere to certain aspects of character. Who knows? Someone else I've known. I'm mentioning more maybe unpleasant folks, somewhat. I've known. I've known someone else who was kind of. I'll use the word wild, but not wild in a really take your life in your hands type of wild. I mean, wild in terms of more of a Sacha Baron Cohen. No, not very much. No shame. Class clown. Very irreverent, or at least somewhat that way kind of guy. Went to BYU. Went on a mission. He's gay now. Whatever. Tried Facebooking him. Facebook friend. He eventually accepted my request. This is someone I've known very well. I know him very well. But he wouldn't really respond to me. I don't know why. Doesn't really do anything church. It doesn't really have anything to do with the church anymore, my church. And, I've perpetually, my entire life, I've been confused by this guy. Utterly confused. So, I don't understand what it's like to desire a guy. I don't understand homosexuality myself. I don't really want to. But that doesn't change how I treat gay folks. I treat them like everybody else. There's really no difference. Unless someone tries to pick up on me and like, I'm not gay. But try to be nice about it. That's about the gist of that. Some people seem to get upset about this sort of thing, about my church, or about Baptists, or whoever else, or Muslims, or in a very different way. And what they're upset about is ultimately just what is in the Quran, or what is in Torah, or what is in the Bible, Book of Mormon, whatever. It's not an anger that's directed necessarily at a person, unless that person is really, really unkind to someone. We don't live by the law of Moses anymore. We don't stone people for being gay. We don't stone people for a lot of things that are sexual. But it's a psychology. His psychology is very foreign to me. It's always been very foreign. His whole family is more wild and crazy, much more wild and crazy than my family. Again, we're not talking about anything athletic or like jumping off of cliffs skydiving stuff. That's a different kind of wild and crazy. It's not that kind of wild and crazy necessarily. We're talking about the humor thing, the thing that a lot of comedians have, where they just talk about stuff often in an irreverent way. They're cleaner comedians. He's not like Bill Murray, by the way. He's again, I mentioned Sacha Baron Cohen. It's more of that kind of humor, where he kind of pokes fun at everybody's little, not just quirks and eccentricities, which Sacha Baron Cohen does, but also pokes fun at everybody's anxieties and their values and things, which is a much more objectionable thing if you really think about it. But I can't deny that there's some humor in it, but it's something that it's not very tasteful, even if it's not sexual. Anyway, so I've known that kind of guy. Now, these are just, 4 or 5 guys I've known that I haven't cared for as much, more or less. Should I go on? Yet, it seems to me that people aren't aware of this area of life where when you interact with someone on YouTube and they don't really know you, there's a lot of assumptions that always go on, and also that happen in real life. People don't always take into account the people that you've known in your life and how knowing that person, trying to figure them out, has shaped what kind of person you are. The struggle to understand people better. The mere struggle. I wonder how many people have struggled to try to understand me as much as I've tried to understand them. And I wonder how many people have really appreciated the fact that I've tried to do that in the first place. And again, this is a shockingly immature thing online to do, to just be oblivious to what people go through in their own lives, trying to understand other people, especially online. They want to understand better, or they think maybe it's, they're just curious about somebody or whatever. Folks, understanding other people better is a huge part of understanding who we are better. Huge, and them, and not only them, but us. It's everybody, and it's life. You try to understand evil better. You try to understand bullying better. You try to understand weird psychology better, weird sexual practices, which is distasteful, but it all adds to your maturity if you're ready for that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're in a place, psychologically, emotionally, where you can handle that kind of heavier stuff. And I do admit some things are probably not good to know about, period, but like witchcraft, along with certain sexual practices, but we won't get into that. So it's just that, again, just to sum this up, it's great when you interact with somebody, whether younger or older, especially, you get that more, older folks tend to be a bit more reasonable in this regard, but it's great when you're talking to somebody that recognizes, oh, this is somebody who has, at least, it doesn't matter how many times, it's great to gain experience in life. It's great to get older that way in life. But it's great when you have someone who recognizes when somebody is trying to understand other people better. That's awesome. That is an awesome feeling. And, there's a lot to say about this stuff, but I'm gonna have to keep us. I don't want to make this video too long. I got some chicken I gotta check on, and guys, just keep being awesome if you're awesome, and if any of you are prone to misunderstanding people online and not understanding when someone's trying to understand people better, just grow up. Please, just any of you who are that way, just grow up a little bit. Whether if it's something where you're just younger and more mature because you're younger, and you're just more prone to just making snap judgments, that's more forgivable, sure. But if you're somebody who just is a jerk, stop being a jerk. Anyway, leave thoughts and comments below. Catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.